I am in my garage in Denver because it's a little too cold at the farm, and I did something that, well, I just wanted to say, if you're looking for a way to improve your relationship with your spouse or your significant other, and also if you're, say, your neighbors need a little help understanding how much you appreciate them, there's a lot of things you can do. And one thing that I found that works really well is bringing an old junker car home and parking it on the street. The neighbors love it. It creates goodwill all around, and that's what I did. Hey guys, so I'm not at Goathead Farm. I'm at my house outside of Denver, and I had this awesome car delivered yesterday because my truck is broken down with that active fuel management issue. Planning on going out there tomorrow and trying to figure out if I can get that lifter to release so I can get the truck back. But this car was for sale up in Leadville, and I told the guy that I wanted to buy it, but I wasn't going to be able to pick it up until I got my truck fixed. Well, I messaged him after I saw that the car was pending because I thought, well, I'll be safe. I messaged him and said, hey, if that falls through, let me know. And he said, will do. So it fell through, of course. And I said, I can't come get that car. He had it listed, and he said he would deliver it within a certain amount of distance or something like that. And so I messaged him. I said, I can't get this car right now. Brought it down yesterday afternoon, and it must have had 3 feet of snow on it when he pulled in. We got a little bit of snow here yesterday, but it looked kind of funny because it had this huge snowdrift on top. It's a 1965 Corvair Monza, and I'm really excited to get it cleaned up and see if I can get it running. I've been wanting a second-gen Corvair ever since I was a teenager, honestly. I've always wanted to have a vehicle here and I have plenty of vehicles at the farm, but I wanted to have something here in Denver where I need to be for my job. So I thought, finally I'm going to do this. I'm going to go grab my spare winch that I bought last summer. That's my hitch mount winch. And I decided I'm going to anchor it to my concrete floor in my garage, and then I'm going to pull the Corvair up into the garage. I thought this was the best solution. So the things that I needed, well, I had to go out to the farm to get my winch, which I did, and a battery. I forgot the magic wand, or I forgot the controller for the winch. And after finally getting a hammer drill, this was actually my dad's. So I went over there last night and got his hammer drill. I bought these redhead. So I'm sitting here thinking, how am I going to bolt this to the floor? I thought it was just a flat plate. I forgot it had this. I don't know why it does. I guess so it sits flat. I don't know, but so back to Harbor Freight I went, and I bought this receiver. So my plan is to bolt this receiver to the floor. It'll work. Yeah, so that's the setup I'm going to have, and I think that's going to work just fine. I was originally going to put 4 half-inch bolts, but I think 2 is going to be enough. It's a pretty small car. I think it'll work. Sure, we'll mount it. Now I have this, and I got my battery, and then the other thing I bought, which I guess is kind of a Christmas present for myself, but I've been wanting a remote control because it's nice to free spool the thing all the way out and then drive it back in nice and tight. And it's hard to do when your controller is not as long as your cable. So this thing is remote control, or it's wireless, and it's got 80 feet, so I'll be able to pull this thing all the way out and use the wireless to pull it back in while I keep tension on the cable. And so I'm going to use the hammer drill to mount that receiver, and then I'm going to try to figure out how to get the Corvair up into the garage. The trick's going to be finding a place to hook onto the Corvair. Supposedly underneath there's some holes in the frame or the unibody or whatever that you can grab onto that are designed to pull the car. Can't grab the rear axles because they're actually drive axles, so they need to turn, but we'll get to that in a minute. All right, thanks for Thanks for checking in, guys. We will see how this goes. It's gonna go great. To market. And that reminds me already, I need to have my right in my eye, just like I thought. You don't need safety glasses, but at least close your eyes. So I'm gonna go get some safety glasses, which will take me about 45 minutes to find. Hilty bit. And it just kind of all the way through the frickin' thing. It's a 4-inch slab, so I'm into the dirt. So that's a bummer. So I've gone all the way through the slab. Wow, I went all the way through. I knew it was 4-inch. So that's why I bought 3-inch, but I shouldn't have drilled that far. I don't know why. See, I went on that, it's got that red line. I was going to measure this and go a 1/4 inch extra. So, I mean, I would have been that far from the going through anyways. I think it's still going to work. The only thing that I don't know about is these washers. So, I had a long conversation with my dad about this last night, and it doesn't make a lot of sense when you get these all the way in. You're supposed to tap them, but when you tap them, you're hitting the whole thing. So I think really all you're trying to do is just set this sleeve in the concrete enough to where you can start turning this nut. And okay, so let's go ahead and tap them in. And then I think I should just be able to tighten them down. I should put a torque wrench on these. Okay. Tightening torque 20 foot-pounds. I put way more than that on it. Okay, so there. That should work.
Wow.
Got her mounted.
Wow.
It's nice to have a winch in your garage, because you need that, right?
You do.
I do. Now what? So the winch is running, battery's charged. I'm ready to start pulling the car up. I'm not sure where to hook onto the back of the car, and I've got 2 flat tires. So I'm going to try to get air in the tires, and then I'm going to try to pull it forward this way, hook onto the back, and then bring it back up in. So we'll see how this goes. So I was kind of set up, I guess, for failure, but trying to get air in this tire, but the stem is missing the valve, so it might hold air if I could get air in it. And I thought, well, maybe it's got a spare, but I don't have a key. So if someone drilled that out and you use a screwdriver, and I could pop the hood, but there's no spare in there. So I just want to get air in that tire so I can pull it into the garage. It's not going well so far. So miraculously, this tire's holding air now. I put some Fix-A-Flat in there and it seems to be holding. The real struggle was where to tie to, and I just kind of went around the suspension. That's really pushing on that sway bar over there. I wish I was above that sway bar. And then it would be, I'd be up into the engine though. Corvairs are not easy to pull. I just learned that. Let the battery charge for a minute. The back glass is perfect, man. Look at that glass. It almost looks like they got new glass on there. I bet that's original. That looks like my old Camaro. Oops, antenna. Shouldn't have messed with it. I guess the good news is that I actually am pulling it into the garage. I was to the point where I wasn't confident it was going to happen today, so pretty happy. Now I got to clean out the garage to make room for it. When I get the bumper about here, I will do that. All right, let's see if we can keep pulling. I just learned something about this remote. I've been frustrated because every time I go to use it, I have to turn the thing back on. But I've also had the thing in my back pocket walking around. So can you imagine if I go inside and walking around and I'm sitting there driving the winch? I think that's a pretty cool safety feature. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So, but let's take a look at it. I really wanted a second gen Corvair. This is a 65 and it's red, and I can't do a great tour of it because I'm in my garage in Denver and I have way too much stuff in it to get around, but I feel like it's in good shape overall because it's got the armrests are in pristine condition. But honestly, overall, I don't think it's too bad. The dash is destroyed. The ignition switch is gone. It does have two sets of hubcaps. The headliner is completely failed. The back seat is in decent condition, except the top is sun rotted. So these seats are not, I'm not even sure if they're Corvair seats. I don't know Corvairs well enough. They almost look like they look like my Grand Prix seats, but check it out. They're electric seats. I wonder what these came out of. The guy told me that the seats, the original seats for this car were in it, and he took them out and threw them basically on the ground. So I'm trying to get a hold of the person he bought it from, and they're in, I forget, Allen's Park, on the way to Estes Park, and I want to get a hold of them, and I'm sure they've already, I think that someone was cleaning out the yard, and this was a casualty of it. He said it was going to the crusher, and he saved it from the crusher. And I feel like he even said if someone doesn't buy it within a certain amount of time, it's going back to the crusher. It's going to be, you know, scrap, $500 scrap car. I mean, why would a 65 Corvair go for scrap? I don't know. So it's kind of interesting because I was under the impression that I even thought I could maybe go up there and make it run. But now that I'm seeing it, someone commented on my other Corvairs on how to do that. So I don't want to take credit for knowing how to do that. But if you have a Corvair, just keep pushing it up and it'll click. That's kind of neat. So it's a 110. It's got the turbo here, so that's cool. This is interesting. I'm gonna have to clean all that out. I was under the impression, honestly, this looks custom. I was thinking, oh, actually it's on there. I thought the distributor cap was off. So distributor cap's on. Probably needs a coil wire. Oh, these are those new Tesla wireless ones. You know, Tesla was trying to get wireless electricity going, so I think that's what that is. Where is the coil wire going? This is the coil. I knew that, actually. That's quite the coil. It was removed from a Pro top fuel dragster and put on here. Resistor. Well, maybe it'll run. I don't know what so much of this stuff is, but I do know that that's a turbo. I think you actually could get turbos on these. I think you could get a 65 Corsa with a turbo, and it had the 140. This is the 110. But this is going to be bare bones, which I like. It's the 110 manual transmission. I think you could actually get these automatic. I think they had the little shifter on the dash. I don't know. The funny thing about this car, I got to hit up my buddy Dwayne that I went to high school with. He had, I'm thinking this might be his car, except that we lived in California at the time. But he lives here in Colorado now. And I got to show him this car because he had a red, I'm sure this is the exact same car that he had. I think this is actually pretty cool. Look at, oh, spring loaded. Again. So, pristine condition. Wow, that's the original color. How cool is that? Beautiful. I'm thinking with a little elbow grease to bring that back. The mice have been in here. It's got one of those. Oh, that's the turbo. Okay, I knew it had a turbo. That belt. Oh, look at that's cool actually. Because, ow, it's gonna leave a bruise. I wonder why someone took this off. I'm gonna put it on. Look it, that's the second thing I've already fixed. Oh, that hurt. If you ever do this, don't leave your screwdriver in. That door though, little barn door. Whoop. Really cool. I think these are awesome cars. It's got everything. Yeah, it's beat up. Look at that red though. So pretty. It's red with red interior. There we go. This unfortunately is broken. Is that something I could braze back together? So I fix this. Oh, I'm worried about scratching the windshield. Yeah, you don't want to scratch the windshield. But, okay. I'm going here too. This armrest is actually pretty good. No electric seat on this side. What are these seats from? Does anybody know what these seats are from? Ashtray in the back. Ooh. Probably can't get the glove box open, huh? Oh, a key. Drill that out too. The radio. Delco. That's bitchin'. I think that steering wheel is in perfect condition. Look at the Monza on the horn. Mirrored visor, pretty cool. Those are super cool. Headliners didn't do well. It's got the little close hook, I think, for your hangers. Oh, this is tight. And in the back, not much. There's a fire extinguisher, and that's the cover for the rear, I think, behind the engine. I'm not sure what these are. I think that's an aftermarket thing. Almost looks like a little light, but I guess it's a reflector. Doors are fairly solid. I'm really not seeing a lot of rust or anything on it, so I bet this car has some really good stories. Being a Colorado car, I bet they used to take it skiing. It's got snow tires. It's got studded tires on it. I bet they studded it up in the winter and they'd go plowing through snow. I bet this car has some good stories. That's all I'm going to say. I'm really happy that the taillights are in good shape. Under here is beat up. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I got a lot of work to do. It'd be really cool if I could get this thing running and drive it to the farm. That's my goal. So, see how that goes. Well, I think that's all it's going to be on this video. That's the introduction to the red 65 Corvair. And as I start getting into it and cleaning it out, well, I'm just going to work on the engine and try to see if I can get it to start. And go from there. The tires are holding air now, which is a miracle in itself. But we'll put new tires on it. Maybe get some new wheels, because these wheels just seem like they're not going to hold air. But that's it. I appreciate you guys watching this. I hope you like Corvairs as much as I do. This is my third one. This is my first second gen Corvair. This is the body style that I always liked, even though I like the older ones now, I think. But these are cool looking cars when they're cleaned up, in my opinion. I think they're awesome cars. I think Chevy did a really cool thing when they made these, and they had a 10-year run. And now I've got both generations. Maybe before I quit, I would like to get a 69, maybe 140, and I wouldn't mind having a van and or pickup and or a wagon. So yeah, we'll have a little Corvair party someday. Come on out. See you guys.